Okay, so it's been a few months since I looked at the top presets on the Quad Cortex, and I figured let's go ahead and check them out. If you've not seen one of these videos before, basically what we're doing is we're grabbing the most popular presets over the last few months, and we're going to look at them really for three things. One, obviously we want to find presets that sound good and see if there's some we want to use. Second, we're looking for presets maybe that are doing something a little bit different. Is there anything we can learn from what these users are doing with the presets? And third, are there any captures in these presets that are maybe something we want to check out and use in our own presets? So let's go ahead and go to Cortex Cloud. And you can see here on the front page, I'm just going to go to the presets. I'll hit show all. And we go to the filter and we want the past few months. And I'm looking for guitar. And we're going to sort by popularity. Let's see what we got here. We got an 80s clean. Yeah, we'll give it a try. Born from Pain. Interesting title. Maybe is that a song title? I'm not sure. We'll check it out. Pure Riff. Give that a try. We'll skip the ones that are mines. That one's using a plugin, so we're going to skip that. Try this one. I'm going to skip some of the artist ones, though. See what the MXR Rockman one is. Sergi JCM 800. Try that one. Mesa Boogie All-Star sounds cool. And let's see how many we got here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Grab a couple more. Try this dual one. Maybe lock Knoose. I'm not sure what that is, but we'll give it a shot. So that's 10. I think that's a good amount. So let's go ahead and go over to our Cortex Cloud. We'll go to our directory, downloads. It'll take a second here to refresh those into our application. All right, so that's all of them. So let's go ahead and we'll just select all of them, copy them to our device. Let me find somewhere we can stick them. Let's do here. So let's stick them in like this. All right, so we'll go to my presets. I think what we're bank 24. All right, so Mesa Boogie All-Star. Let's see what we got here. We got no sound, so our outs are going to multi-out, so that should be fine. So probably there's some kind of volume going on here. So likely what's happening is we're using an effects loop, and I don't have anything in the effects loop, so that's causing us an issue. We'll turn those off. Gig view. So let's go ahead and unassign that. Keep it off. All right. Still nothing. Yeah, there we go. So usually a gate would not cause that, basically no volume coming through, but because the source was set to the return, it was killing our signal. So we turn that off. So what do we got going on here? We're coming line 1. We're splitting. We're sending only level to B. It's interesting that they're doing a split rather than just normal. So split, usually you'd send left to one and right to the other. And I think they're only using line 2 as kind of an extension of line 1. They're not really running in parallel. So I would set this to normal. And then you got level A is 0, so you just want to go in, everything going to line 2. What I would do probably is just do balance and then push everything to line 2 like that. So I would configure it like that, but it'll work. We've got a chorus here, flanger, we got some drives on, we got a interesting. So Bogna X Blue 4, it's categorized as an overdrive model. I guess that's what it is. I'm not familiar with that pedal. We've also got some drive pedals in here. Oh, that's mine. Number OD1 and a red drive. And then for amps, so we've got another chorus, Lone Star Clean into a 2x12. We've got a looper if we want to use it, tape delay, room reverb, and a compressor on the back end. Don't really hear the choruses very much. The mix is set to an expression pedal. Maybe that's the problem. And this mix is at 3%. I don't know if they're really going to hear anything at all from that. That's super low. So this one's adding in the Myth Drive and the Archer Icon, which is also a Klondike pedal. Interesting. So you're stacking 3 drives into each other. Very kind of mid-focused. Still got that little bit of a chorus on there. And so this is adding in another drive pedal. And this adds the red drive. Turns off the Nobel, but oh, and you got the flanger on. Not sure what the hybrid mode is. I'm assuming that maybe these are the scenes that are using the effects loops. So I don't think we can see anything from there. So, interesting preset. I think this is a preset that you need to have whatever's in the effects loops to really make it kind of stand out. Let's go ahead and move on. Pure Riff. So it doesn't look like there's any scenes. It's real trebly. So really no changes to this at all. It's just straight ahead. I'm surprised even you've got a transpose on the front end if you want it. You've got a gate. You're compressing to an HG precision drive, into PV, into a Brit 4x12, and then an EQ with some slight EQs. Pushing the 400, pulling back to 4,000. So yeah, tons of presence on this. I'll pull that a little bit. So I think pure riff is a good name for this. It's definitely built just for that. You know, riffing like that. So what we got. So this Fender Deluxe AC15 Dual. So dual preset. We've got a Fender Deluxe and a C15, both going into their respective cabs. The split is doing a normal split and mixing back, so it's panning the Fender all the way to the left and the Vox all the way to the right. Got a slapback delay, 2 compressors in a row. Not sure why. People seem to be using these Archer Icon captures I created. And then there's a green 808. So let's hear what it sounds like in clean mode. So you got a slapback delay, spring reverb. You've got some EQing going on here. So you're pulling back, pushing the 800s. A little bit of a, that's kind of a Tom Schultz EQ where you're pushing those 800. And that's pretty much it. So the clean ambience. I was turning on the 2 delays in this reverb. I was adding this tremolo too. So we've got a dual tape delay, splitting normal, mixing back, straight ahead. So the 2 delays aren't being panned left and right in any way. They're just being, you would do this then just to keep them separate so that they don't interact with each other. And then you've got a modulated reverb on the back end. Okay. That's the tremolo just without the ambience. We got for the drive. We'll turn on the Archer Icon. You got a slapback delay and that little spring reverb on it. One thing I would do is I'm going to go ahead and do the high pass filters and low pass filters here. That's a little too long. So this is I did a video on this a while back. I tend to do this all the time for all my presets is some amount of high pass and low pass filters. The standard numbers I use is about 70, about 6,000, somewhere in there. I just think it sounds a little more natural when you do that. I'll put the link to the video here so you can kind of hear the whole video. So this is doing the Archer into the tube screamer. And then this is turning on both compressors and the chorus. just doing the one delay. That's kind of a cool sound. So, interesting combo. Yeah, so overall, not a bad preset. Like I said, the only thing I would do is turn on that high pass filter and low pass filter on the cabs there, just to smooth out some of that top end and tame some of the super low stuff. But let's go ahead and move on. Locked Knoose. So what we got is, we've got a split, normal split, going into a Bogna and a PV, both with a gate after it. But we're missing an IR. So let's go ahead and add in an IR that I have. We'll just use this couple of Marshalls. So you'll get this sometimes, even on some of mine. If I use an IR that you don't have, it'll give you that little kind of warning sign, that yellow triangle. That sounds better. We've got some EQ going on. Really pushing up this 65 hertz. That's kind of interesting. And here you're cutting it. Interesting. It's like pushing the two EQs in a row is kind of interesting. I'm not sure why. It's funny, it's doing a high pass filter of 62, but then pushing the 65. Oh, and then there's another one down here. There's a lot of EQ going on here. I'm not quite sure what they're doing. And then you got a mine hall reverb on the back. So using a swollen pickle. It's a lot of gain. That is too much low end. So this is adding more EQ. I feel like there's something specific going on here that I'm not aware of, because a lot of this stuff doesn't make much sense to me. I'm thinking maybe there's some specific song or specific artist that we're trying to mimic here. So let's go ahead and move on. MXR Rockman. Wow, that is a Tom Schultz. That Tom Schultz kind of tone. So I'm assuming someone captured the MXR 100, and mainly this preset is just to show that off. So you got two different cleans, an edge, thicker distortion, a lot of ambience on the back end. Interesting. And then you've got a chorus that's kind of mimicking that Tom Schultz kind of chorus. So, you know, if you're looking for, I think this preset's more about the captures. If you're wanting kind of that Tom Schultz sound, maybe this is a great place to go grab these captures and stick them into a preset. 80s clean schmoo. So I'm overdriving this a little bit. So what do we got? We're compressing a lot. Plug 64 into a 1x12. Got a Mind Hall reverb. So what's going on here is, so he's got two blends on these two lines. One is being triggered from here, and one is being triggered from up here. So basically what that's doing is it's sending some signal from the output of this to here. So this line is not going to have the chorus or the reverb on it. And this line's going to have the chorus, but not the reverb. And you can see we're doing a pitch shifter. -11, +11 into their own delays and their own choruses. This reminds me a lot of, I did a video a while back, I'll put the link to it here, where I did kind of an 80s studio clean. I was replicating someone who was recreating a diagram from, I think it was Steve Lukather, and it was separating the guitar signal into multiple paths with multiple choruses and delays and things like that. This seems a lot like that. So I think it's doing that 80s thing pretty well, and it's kind of following that same kind of thing. Let's go ahead and move on. Born from Pain. So we've got noise reduction into noise reduction into a transpose. We've got an EV and a Soldano amp. Cabs. Some EQing going on here. More gates and a utility gain. And you've got a doubler being triggered from the inputs. And so I'm not sure what, there's something coming in via the return. I don't see any send to it. So I'm not sure what's going on with this line. Line 3 is not really going to get used unless you are plugging something external into the return. Really what this is mixing an EVH with a Soldano, and that's pretty much it. And then a lot of kind of noise control. You can hear there's tons of noise gating going on there. All right, let's move on. All right, so channel 1. What's going on here? So we're coming in input 1. We've also got some stuff coming in via USB, but we'll ignore that for now because we're not using that. We come input 1, we split. Everything's going to line A. We're compressing. We've got an amp and a cab. All right. And then we're going to line 3. On line 3, we have spring reverb. Okay. I think I just found a bug in Cortex control. When you're on a regular block, you can kind of make them go up and down. When you're on the splitter, you can't do that in either direction. You can't bring them down, you can't bring them up. That's interesting. So anyway, so you can see when we go to channel 2, we're pushing to B. So for this one, we're getting the Brit 2203. Channel 3. I'm not sure what else is going on here. There's a lot of noise gate. Oh, okay. So channel 3 is just pumping up the volume on the utility volume. Okay. And in the back end, you've got a spring reverb into a cave reverb into a tape delay. And it's really dark. You can see the low pass filter is at 2100. That's pretty low. All right, so interesting way to do this. I'm not sure what this graphic EQ back here is doing. Oh, he's using it to push the output. So in this case, he's using this EQ as a volume boost, really. All he's doing is pushing the output when he turns it on. So I don't know why you wouldn't use another utility volume there. The other thing is, I don't know that I would use a utility volume here to manage volume. I would tend to do that using the volume levels of the thing. So for example, you're moving from channel 2 channel 3. The main thing he's doing is just pushing up the volume. Well, you could accomplish the same thing by assigning this to scenes and just pushing up the output volume of the tube screamer capture into the amp. So that would save yourself a block here. The other thing on the back end, you've got an EQ. I mean, maybe sometimes live you want to have the ability to turn that on and off, but if you're going to use this here and do it +3, again, I would just use a utility gain block here and just push it up 3 if you wanted to do that. Or if all you want is a volume boost, you could adjust, you can do this scene specific here. So I just think there's a lot of ways you could do some of these same things without burning the block and using that extra CPU. But otherwise, not a bad sounding preset. Edging heaven. So we've got 3 Morgan captures here at different gain levels. You're running those into a 1x12. Have a tape delay, plateless reverb, and some stuff in the front. So. That's a lot of... There's way more delays than I would expect from 30% mix. And I'm assuming this is stomped mode, so... So I think the main thing here is you've got some nice sounding kind of Morgan captures. They're a little dark, but overall they sound pretty good. Let's move on. One live. Clean. So we've got a twin reverb. We've got an EVH red, so that's a big difference. You've got 2x12 for the reverb, 2x12 fat boy. I'm assuming that's for the EVH. You've got a utility gain, utility volume assigned to an expression pedal, a dual delay, and a modulated reverb. Okay, this is interesting. He's turning on both amps here. Did he mean to do that? He calls it clean effects. I don't think he meant to turn on the other amp. The course engine, tremolo up front. Tube screamer. Again, he's got both amps on. No, I would almost never recommend that. So what's he doing different on the solo? He's adding in the delay. You changing the amp at all? Yeah, he's adding more gain and more mids and more bass. All right, let's move on. And that was it. Okay, so some cool stuff here. I think, like I said, there's some good captures here. There's Morgan. I think there's, if you're looking for an 80s clean, here's a good option. And you've obviously got the Rockman captures here that you can use. And otherwise, just a good set of presets. I think there's some interesting stuff in here about kind of how you make sure you kind of be economical with, if you're adjusting volume levels, unless you want to use an expression pedal, you can usually do it via the volume controls on the existing blocks, and you can adjust the volume levels where you want it, whether it's in front of the amp or after the amp, or even you can use the output block itself and adjust the volume there. So keep that in mind too. You don't always need to use a utility block, chew up that CPU, chew up that slot. And also, as always, be very careful how you're using your splitters, how you're using them to, whether you're doing a normal versus a split, and how you're kind of mixing back together. That can have really significant impacts on how your preset behaves. Anyway, I hope you found this helpful, and as always, thanks for watching.